Indian Express news articles related to July 4, 2022. First article is all about panel calls for boosting protein nutrients in government meal programs. COVID-19 pandemic is likely to have aggravated the silent crisis of undernutrition in India. An interministerial committee has observed recommending that rich protein food items like egg, nuts, legumes as well as micronutrients like calcium, iron, zinc, folate, vitamin A be legally mandated in meals given through food safety programs in schools and anganwadis by revising Schedule 2 of the National Food Security Act 2013. Schedule 2 of National Food Security Act lays down the nutritional standards for government food safety programs like midday meal, PM Poshan, Integrated Child Development Service Scheme. Currently, it quantifies nutrition per meal in terms of calorie and proteins only, but interministerial panel has called for micronutrients also to be taken into account. Next article that we are moving into is the same article. The continuation is the committee has suggested the urgent action is needed to address the crisis, citing National Family Health Survey 5, which was documented rise the rate of child undernutrition, stunting and wasting in most of the states, along with an increased in prevalence of anemia among the pregnant women and those of reproductive age. The current norms mandate 100 gram food grains, 20 gram pulse and 50 gram vegetables, which accounts for 250 kilocalories and 12 gram proteins. The condition as per served per meal, which accounts for 700 kilocalories and 200 gram protein. Under the pregnant and lactating women under existing standard, beneficiaries are entitled to 600 kilocalories and 18 to 20 gram protein per meal given in the form of take home ratio, that is THR. Next article that we are moving into is all about the note by cess. Ban on wheat shipments, 50% duty on gold imports, cesses on fuel exports, decision shows short termism. The article talks about they have been slashed once on May 2022 following the excise duty cuts by Centre, and during these nearly 3 months Brent crude prices have risen by about $15 per barrel and the rupee weakened from 75 to 78 to the dollar. Not being allowed to raise the prices has made oil companies hesitant to sell the fuels at loss in domestic market, causing shortage in some states. On other hand, the elevated global prices have led the private refineries in particular to boost exports of diesel, petrol and naphtha and aviation turbine fuel and other products by importing Russian crude shunned by Western buyers at below international price, re-exporting refined products to those very countries. Private oil companies have been earning phenomenal profits even while reducing the domestic sales, according to Finance Minister. That arbitrage opportunity has now been blocked with Narendra Modi government slapping rupees 6 per liter a special additional excise duty on export of petrol, avian turbine fuel and rupees 13 per liter on diesel. In addition, for every tonnes of petrol and diesel shipped out, exporter will have to undertake supply half a ton in domestic market. The government capping domestic retail fuel price. State-owned oil companies may have no option but to sell at these prices and incur losses. No less backward-looking is the cess on domestic crude. The producer, it is alleged, or making windfall gains from selling crude at international parity price. Thus, both the exports of refined product and realization of international prices for crude produced from India are to be regarded as profiteering. Thus, in domestic exploration and production of oil, whether it is ban on wheat shipments, the cesses on fuel exports are levying a 15% duty on gold imports. The Modi government recent action ostensibly to curb the inflation and widening the external current account deficit, betraying the short termism. True, these are extraordinary times, but it is such times that policy credibility gets tested. Next article talks about new energy disorder. This article talks about India is caught in the vortex of this turmoil. 3 issues are of particular significance. 1. has been reported. India is now a major purchaser of Russian crude. Last month, it has reportedly purchased an average of 1.2 million barrel MBD. If this figure is correct, Russia is now largest provider of crude oil, surpassing Saudi Arabia and Iraq. Reason of this ramp up is the price discount offered by Russia. There is initially publicly critical, but when it is pointed out that kettle must not call the pot black, Germany still imports 35% of its gas from Russia. They limited their comments to private exchanges. The two Russia China have for long shared the view that US is their biggest security threat. Leaders are not personally close but is common strategic look. Instead, he throws a lifeline by expanding China's purchase of Russian oil and gas. Russia is also now the largest supplier of petroleum to China. How might a post-Ukraine weakened Russia, that is in hawk to China, respond to India in the event matters Detroit on our border with China? Will they be reliable providers of crude oil, military equipments, minerals and metal essential for our green transition? Our long-standing friend, that is Russia, is now in a bad books of our other friends and is deepening relationship with our adversaries. The Gulf countries are crucial for our energy security, but Russia has replaced them as our principal supplier. A mechanism for development execution of integrated energy policy. Currently, there is no executive authority responsible for energy. There are ministries responsible for components of energy policy, but no formal mechanism for aligning their separate approaches. We cannot therefore afford to continue with the existing siloed approach. Next article is all about the way backward. The first public appearance by Habibullah Akhundzada, the Supreme Court leader of Afghanistan Taliban regime, has no room for hope that who have take charge of benighted country will change for the better. In recent weeks, Taliban faced the factionalism and internal divisions, have responded by going into the default mode, and women have been the first target. New restrictions on their movement have been imposed, and there is no light at the end of the tunnel for girls who want to go to school. The meeting was closed to media, but Akhundzada's speech was publicly broadcast. Hardliner in the Taliban system, he made no concession to the demand both by Afghan and international community that a regime must become inclusive for minorities and more urgently allow girls to go to school. Rule for Taliban is not a normal arrangement. The armed groups whose luminaries included several designated terrorists took power by force and is determined by imposed its extreme views on the people of the country. It has shown no sign of accommodation towards non-Pashtun, non-Sunni minority communities in Afghanistan. Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed or the terror groupings, big transition given very sign in touch with the big transitional terror groups. Yet this regime in Kabul wants international recognition as a legitimate government of Afghanistan and wants the world assistance to tide over its difficulties, including devastating earthquake that caused a large-scale destruction. It is good that India and reopened its embassy in Kabul with a small team of security and other officials at the end of the June, made a strong plea for the right of Afghan women at the Geneva Conference, even as it called attention to Delhi's dispatch of relief materials in 2 aircrafts of survivors for the quake. Next article is all about high cost of trade, agri trade bans. This article talks about earlier on May 13, the government banned the wheat export to check the potential rise in the prices in the face of low procurement. This is surely not the first time an attempt being made to ban the wheat and rice export. It was also done in 2007 and 8 in the wake of global financial crisis. By doing so, again, some people in the government think that they tame inflation in India. Perhaps they will impose stocking limits on traders for a host of commodities, suspend future trading in food items, and even conduct income tax raids on traders of food. But all these extreme measures in the name of taming inflation only expose the hollowness and lack of understanding with the government as to how to market the economies functions and what is really behind high inflation. Let us take the case of rice first. Indian export highest ever volume of 21 million metric tons of rice in 2021-22 in the global market of about 51.3 million metric ton, which amounts to 41% of global export. Let us continue the article in the next video. Please do share, like, comment and subscribe if you like the video. Have a nice day. Thank you.